So, with that, we are halfway through. Next set is going to be Pox versus abearRAWR, which is possibly my favorite name coming out of the Challenger division. It's so fun. But we've been going for a little while.
I'm going to have to actually correct you there. abearRAWR has not been in Challenger.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, this is actually abearRAWR's competitive debut.
I see him so much in all the various SpyParty chats that for some reason I think he's been in the tournament, but he hasn't been. He's just been watching from the sidelines until now, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, abearRAWR is the only person who isn't in the SCL who is in this tournament.
So, I believe that's right.
At most, there's a couple.
Yeah,
Indeed.
definitely. It's a lot of overlap, again, for the reason I mentioned. A lot of new players hungry to keep playing when the SCL ends. Not as exhausted by it, I guess, as the rest of us. Youthful pups, really. And they can't get enough of it, so they dove right into the next competition.
Well, after all of this talk of the SCL, I would like to remind you that this competition is a little bit different as far as the maps are concerned. The matches are shorter, as I'm sure you've been noticing, only 8 games to a match. And it's a set map pool as well, so no picks and bans going on. The map pool is Ballroom, any 4 of 8, Courtyard, any 4 of 7, Library, any 3 of 5, and Crowded Pub, any 4 of 7. 2 games on each. 1 is Spy, 1 is Sniper. As we get ready to head into Pox versus abearRAWR, which is going to be quite a bit of fun, I think, although Pox is a terrifying opponent to be coming up against. Very highly seeded, coming out of Challenger. Was Pox one of the 2 who got auto-promoted? I don't remember what exactly the standings
Yes,
were
yeah, very
coming
narrowly.
out.
Pox was, in fact, 8-2 and was auto-promoted, so therefore not playing in the Challenger tournament.
Yeah. So Pox, definitely a force to be reckoned with, not someone you are too happy to see in your group, especially on your competitive debut. Let's see how he picks things up at the start of this set on the Spy side of Ballroom, with abearRAWR picking up the Sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And I think, as much as I love that name, I'm probably going to call them a bear for the most part. I don't think I have it in me to RAR every time. I'm sorry.
Fair enough. Somebody in chat asking what the tiebreakers are. I believe it's game wins. Well, it's points, obviously, first. And then I think it's game wins. And then I think it's how many maps you've swept. And then there's one other one after that, but we're probably not going to get that far down.
Yeah. Now, Pox played 8 ballroom games in Challenger this season as Spy, won 3 of them. Pretty good rate.
Pretty good rate indeed, starting things off with 34% on the flirt.
And just in general in Challenger, by the way, won 48% of their Spy games.
That's nothing to sneeze at, to be sure.
No, very good rate, especially when coupled with a 72% sniper win rate.
Oh god, yeah, that's scary. Contact comes off. Second flirt comes off. A white test at a distance up to 56%. So, I'm gonna need a pretty close green. Hit that 3 flirt. Oh! But abearRAWR gets a little bit jumpy on the trigger. Takes a shot. Pox picking up the first win on the Spy side without having to do a whole lot.
Yeah, and wasn't even a center statue visit. Just seems like a jumpy shot. Can't really quite make sense of it. Okay, competitive debut. Maybe that's it.
Competitive debut. Game is stressful enough without a competition.
Yeah, apparently.
They were highlighted for going to center statues on the
my mistake. Yeah,
so they were
very quick shot.
At a point. Yeah.
Well, you know, I understand if you think you're a big underdog, and against Pox, it's hard not to think that going into it. maybe you're worried they're going to disrespect you the first game, right? They're gonna throw everything at you. It's actually very common if you're not sure about the skill of your opponent, and if your opponent wasn't even an SCL, for example, maybe you haven't played them, maybe you don't know. You think I just want to throw everything at them until they beat me. So very easy to imagine maybe that Pox is rushing.
Indeed. Either way, not the first competitive game that abearRAWR would have liked to see as he steps into the spy side here in Ballroom. Pox on the sniper. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And on the sniper side, 8 ballroom games for Pox, 7 wins.
Wow, that's...
Yep, the only one to get one by them, a mission win by Inknun, who also a very good challenger player.
Absolutely. The Bear starting things off with 34% on the flirt. After a little bit of milling about, is getting ready for yet another one. This one, another white test, up to 68 now.
And there are a lot of statue visitors. That helps a little bit, especially because Pox does seem to be doing the standard highlight for statues move.
Absolutely. Being offered a drink, just steps away. But a pretty slow-moving game from abear so far. Just lots of movement, but just a couple of inspects. Sorry, a couple of flirtations, and now stepping into statues for a duo of inspects. Actually, just the one, and a fingerprint alongside it, which is pretty nice to see. Unfortunately, inspected the center statue instead of the side one, so that's
going to limit your options if you want to go back to that same set. You can't do that now.
Indeed. Unless you hit the center one. Then that'll still work.
Yeah, true, but that comes with its own risks for sure.
Indeed it does. 3, I think, low lights? 2 or 3 coming off of the contact? I think 3.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
Not too bad at all. One of them was, in fact, a highlight, though. Now abear stepping in to center statues on the other set.
I do like going to center statues as a second statue visit just because it's a little counterintuitive.
I'm a spy. Why would I be going to center statues a second time around? That's suspicious. A spy wouldn't want to be suspicious. Thus, I am clearly not the spy.
Yep, that's how it works. And it's particularly good against a good sniper because you know they're going to remember that. A somewhat lesser sniper maybe might not, and you're more suspicious for it rather than less. Those are the kind of mind games. That's the kind of empathy you have to have as a spy. You have to know your opponent like that.
And a fingerprint off of the green bookcase is a third completion. We just need one more flirt for the win, and we're not even highlight yet. This is a very strong first spy game from abear.
Yeah, but if they're on that fingerprint, then pretty much anything is going to finish this off.
Another statue visit. Picks up the flirt before picking up the statue, but it doesn't look like it matters. abearRAWR goes completely under the radar in his first spy game against Pox, and that is something to celebrate.
Yeah, Pox again, 7 out of 8 ballroom wins as sniper in SCL Challenger Division. Only loss there was to Inknun. So very, very good here from abearRAWR. Just a nice, clean ballroom game. So hard to shoot for that unless you're convinced your opponent's going to be going for fingerprints.
Man, I was a little bit worried after the first game, but abearRAWR really showing his class on the spy side of ballroom there. It's 1-1, stepping into courtyard, as abearRAWR gets a second chance at the sniper side. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, I'm more impressed by that type of spy game than I am about even a really good mission win where, say, you just get a really slick bug off. Because that is one good move, getting the bug off and then not screwing it up. What abearRAWR did was pace it out and make steady progress and make several good decisions together. Obviously didn't have to get away with a hardtail, but did have to make 5 or 6 other decisions of smaller magnitude, and they all had to be good, and they all had to happen in a reasonable amount of time, and they did. That just shows good game sense and timing.
got the fingerprint without hitting a briefcase, went to statues so much that he doesn't look like a spy for it. It was just a beautiful game. Pox starting things off on the spy side, picking up the first flirt for 34% on the close white test, and now steps away to the double agent.
It's not a great time, though. I see 4 lowlights, 2 of them highlights already, one of them small men. You got to wait until 1 or 2 more get in here. Now's a decent time.
Yep, conversation's starting to fill up now. Here comes the contact.
Banana bread.
There goes the contact.
Great
Just
banana bread.
the one low light.
Oh, and the statue highlight, Walt had just entered a conversation across the way with an SDA. The timing was perfect. The moment I thought in my head, now would be the right time, is when I saw it show up there on the log.
And it distracts from a green purloin as well, which just got taken after Toby moves to the other conversation. abearRAWR is in a difficult situation here. Pox is playing this very nicely.
You can justify some very bad banana breads. In fact, sometimes you want them to be bad when they're covering for a hardtail. In this case, it was a great banana bread, and it covered for the purloin. Pox now in a dominating position.
This is a very, very strong game from Pox so far. Picked up the second flirt. This one a close green, up to 85%. Minute and 10 left to play. We need a statue visit and a flirt, and we're not even highlight. This is going to be a hard game from abear to come back from.
Yeah, really, really good. Although we do say that every time there's like a purloin on courtyard, someone, the spy or the sniper, is probably 90% to win, and you don't actually know who. Because if the sniper is mostly suspicious of the purloin, they could shoot at any moment, and they don't really have any reason to adjust their highlights or lowlights for it unless they're uncertain. But I think in this case, Pox got away with it.
I think so too. But we will find out moving forward. 40 seconds left to play. Pox still has to hit up statues.
And that's risky. Going in the last 30 seconds, even if you've gotten away with everything else, you got to get it done.
Here he goes. 30 seconds left to play as he hits the pad. It is fingerprintable, but we don't care at this point. We just need one flirt to win after we get the inspects.
abear does not care. abear is on the other side watching Walt, the same Walt I mentioned earlier, next to the ambassador, really nervous about that bug. He seems like he's mostly focusing on Walt here.
10 seconds. It's going to be overtime. But abear is not a Care Bear about overtime. It's just 3 seconds worth. Movement and not even enough time to pull the trigger. Man, abearRAWR had a pretty beautiful game as spy on the last map, but Pox just put on a clinic.
Yeah, if you look at the log, you see sniper shot too late for sync, was clearly trying to shoot teal, and a very understandable shot. If you're not sure who it is, even if you're a little flustered, shooting someone who's at statues and has a highlight on courtyard in overtime, perfectly reasonable just as a reflex. Again, doesn't know how long they have. In that case, did not have long anyway. Maybe a little aggressive there. Late statue visit from Pox, that's a little suspicious. Had to insta-talk into an overtime, too. There are a couple things there that a more behaviorally oriented sniper might have dinged them for, but it would have taken a really, really good shot. The purloin was still, of course, the game.
Absolutely. And now abear on the spy side of courtyard needs a win on the spy side to keep things tied up, which is not what you want, but it's what we've got. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Spy's 3-0. Game is spy favored. Checker, fix your game. Snipers need help.
No. Just no.
Just no. Fair enough.
Seduction target, being a little bit awkward to start things off. The positioning's, there was room. There was room there next to the ambassador.
For all the talk of courtyard as being difficult for spy and challenger, it was just 55% sniper, which is significant, but not overwhelming.
Yeah, this is true.
It got over 60% in a few other divisions, but challenger pretty much right in line, even slightly below the overall SCL average of 56% for the sniper.
This has not been a good start from abear. 2 full conversation beforehand, just now stepping in. 2 minutes and 10 left to play, and literally no progress as of yet. Picking up the first flirt. Green test to 51, so if we can hit a 2 flirt, that would be huge. I might even go for a timeout at this point as we pick up the contact here.
And remember, abear did start slow the last game too. Eventually got a lot done, a lot of good timing, but I don't know if you can get away with it here on courtyard.
Just the one low light, and attempted behind the back bug, which would have been beautiful had a bear been a little bit farther to the outside of this conversation, but as is, doesn't take.
Yeah, pretty visible bug, but here's the thing. If it happens at a weird time where it's unlikely to take, there's a better than usual chance that the sniper's not actually looking for it.
Yeah. Fingerprintable statue. Picks up a pair of inspects while we're here. So, that's a good amount of progress from a bear, but with only a minute and 15 left to play, we're behind the curve. We would really, really like to hit this 2-flirt.
That would give you some options, especially because the fingerprint can be so mercurial. The briefcase has been just returned to the ambassador, so that's not sitting around.
And it is, in fact, a green test. That's a seducer done. 50 seconds left on the clock. If the ambassador puts his hands on something, we'll be in a great situation.
I think you gotta go crowd him now. They put the briefcase down. Go make a move. Oh no.
Is there a fingerprint here? I don't think there's a fingerprint here. There is a fingerprint here! Second statue visit, second fingerprint. And the shot comes off! Pox is on it!
Yep.
And abearRAWR suddenly finds himself down 3-1.
I was a little skeptical of the statue move. It looks like if they got shot for that, though, the briefcase wasn't going to be any better. I think abearRAWR basically played the same sort of game. Started a little too slow, but paced out the second half of the game really well by getting the fingerprint when they needed to and hitting those green test flirts. Big deal that made this possible. But you only snuck it by Pox once. This time, watching fingerprints maybe a little more closely.
Yeah, Pox played a strong game of Spy there. It's not an easy shot to take, but Pox is on it and finds himself with an advantage because of it. A bear needs to find his footing on the sniper side. This time has a chance to do it on library, any 5 of 8. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. Starting things off is Pox with a really fast time ad. I love seeing stuff like that on a map this big.
Yeah, you're really daring them. Are they going to watch for time ads? Really? With all this activity, all these other things to watch? Good luck.
Exactly. Pox starting things out at the yellow bookcase. Pulls out a book. Probably heading over to the blue side of the map and then is going to put it back to green is the standard play as far as the direct transfer goes.
Yeah, now Pox, relatively pedestrian 2 and 5 on Library in SCL Season 4, but one of those Library wins as Spy was against Dowsy, a mission win.
Absolutely. Pox heading back to... gets a spot taken. Pretty good adjustment, though, but the seduction target is not having it. And now Pox has used up that time ad and then some. He is just now getting the first mission on the board. Mind you, it is a hardtail.
Yeah, and pretty safe.
Well, does pick up a highlight, and the seduction target is just refusing to sit still. And now stepping into green bookcase where we just came from. So, seduction target being very uncooperative as Pox is going to see if he can set up for a bug here.
I like the decision to maybe get something else done. We've talked a lot about how people want to flirt at certain points in the game, and if the ST just moves around, sometimes they will just stubbornly try to force it even when it doesn't make sense. I think most of the time when this happens, when the ST's just being, intransient for whatever reason, you just got to go get something else done. Although in this case, it looks like the bug did not actually happen, and they're going to flirt after all.
Yeah, a bear just watching that bug a little bit too closely to make it happen. Picking up the first flirt at statues instead to 51%, and a single inspect to go with it. But again, picks up the center statue instead of the side one.
And
Man,
on
a bear abear really staring down that list.
We were thinking the exact same thing at the exact same time. abear is determined not to lose to that mission.
The 2 flirt coming out of Pox, though. That's a really nice find after the selection character was being such a jerk early on. Minute and 45 seconds left to play. We have an inspect. We have a fingerprint. Pox is definitely in there.
Yeah, still a lot of options here. I don't think I want to see inspect swap this game, though. But when you leave the inspects not done like that, that's kind of where you're headed.
Well, fingerprint is hot on green bookcase. The purloin comes off on just a white test. No reaction from abear. I don't think he's even seen it.
abear's cursor was right over there, but used it instead to highlight Irish for the statue visit. I think that might have distracted them just long enough. And after being determined not to lose to purloin, that might be exactly what happens.
Definitely knows now. Some lowlights coming out around the area where it happened. And a bunch more coming out from this side as well. I think abear knows more or less where the purloin came from, but is not able to confirm, so being a little bit careful without lowlighting too many people. Very behavior lowlights coming out right now. Inspect swap will finish it off, but if the I don't know, we only have 35 seconds. We don't want to hit another hardtail here.
There's still been no banana bread here. I think if you can get a decent one off, the shot is going to come off with that purloin gone.
But the shot comes off anyways! And abear not able to make it happen on the sniper side of things so far. Lets off a 4-1 scoreline, stepping into the spy side of library. And this is a difficult situation. Definitely needs this game. And the 2 after it. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, back against the wall.
A very good situation.
You missed that timing.
All right.
Thank you.
So back to the start?
Yep.
All right. 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And it can be very demoralizing to say, I'm not going to lose to this mission. I'm going to zoom in on that guest list, and then you miss it anyway. That's rough.
It happened to me during my birthday games with Checker. It's not fun. That was back when Checker literally could not resist purloining any time Kobe was near him.
Yes. Yeah.
We were all a little bit worse at the game back then. 34% off of the first flirt, and abear just steps away to the other end and picks up a time ad.
Yeah, sometimes you wonder if he added purloin specifically because it's the kind of mission he wanted to do.
Well, I kind of hope so.
Yeah.
Oh man, that would be awesome.
The new mission is talk really fast in a conversation.
Yeah. abear has pulled out blue book and is all the way over at the yellow side of the map at this point, so probably in a good position to get that book away without getting caught on it. Another flirt comes off, not able to hit the green test, and at a bit of a distance here, so now we're at 60% on the flirt, with the best possible close white being 34%. So if we're going to 3 flirt this, we're going to need a green. abearRAWR bouncing a little bit, heading back over to the blue side of the map, which is a bit unusual with the blue book in hand. Maybe he thinks he knows.
Well, abear has been very cautious, and again, snipers' reputations precede them. If you're abear and you're playing Pox, you know you're up against a very good player. Going to be a little reticent, I think, a little nervous, a little gun-shy, or rifle-shy in this case.
Indeed. Not able to hit the last green, so it's 92% on the seduction target. Any flirt will finish at this point, but it's going to be a 4th one, which you don't want to see. We got to get this book down in yellow, I think. Beautiful position for the contact, though, so we're going there first.
Yeah, oh, well, this would be really good. You got to do it here.
Come on, abear. Hit that right click.
Maybe waiting for one more person to come in. It's happened. You're not going to get much better than this. This is it.
And it's a green test. 1, 2 lowlights. Actually gets all 3 of them. That's a very impressive reaction from Pox. You very rarely are able to hit all of the lowlights on the map like this. Flirt finishing up now from abear with 2 minutes left to play. We still have 3 missions to do, but Blue Book's still in hand.
And really trying to hang on to that book for a long time before dumping it back in there. Very worried that Pox is going to remember where it's from.
This has been the meta a few times. Just lots of time delay to try to get the sniper to forget where a book came from. But Pox goes safety off on abear, but doesn't pull the trigger.
Wow, I'm not sure it worked. I gotta be honest, I think you get
now
away.
He pulls the trigger.
Wow, must have been so sure too, because already, if you're sure where that book came from, they already would not do that. So
yeah,
people who know a bit about this game, you know that the AI will not put the book back in the wrong case, but they won't even start that process. They won't go to the shelf and read and then not put it back. If they start that read process on the book pad, they've already have confirmed that they're about to put it back or could put it back, for example, right? So interesting that he waits there. I guess he's thinking there's a small chance I've misremembered and just thinking about it, or messing with him because technically the mission isn't completed, but that's just as much a hard tell when they start reading the book there as when they put it back.
Other possibility is he figured there was a very small chance he misremembered where the book came from, so was watching reading cycles to try to confirm.
Yeah, or just saying, you know what, if I'm not positive, why not wait the extra, 10 seconds or whatever it ends up being? But if so, either way, some patience there, certainly. And Pox now has won the set.
Pox has won the set. It's 5-1, the current scoreline. But we're still going to play out pub for the tiebreakers. A little bit of a weight off everybody's shoulders at this point. We can just relax and play some SpyParty. And I think now we might really get to see what abear is made of. Starting things off on the sniper side. 3, 2, 1, playing it.
You say that, but when you look at these individual games, I think you'll agree, abearRAWR playing really, really well. It's just Pox being an excellent, excellent sniper that stopped them from getting more than one spy win.
Yeah, I think abear's been playing incredibly well on the spy side, but maybe not quite so well on the sniper side. Either way, now that the match is in the books, there's a little bit less pressure, which is nice.
Yeah,
although abearRAWR in chat seemingly doesn't agree.
Yeah, it's really stressful instead of really, really stressful. Maybe you go from 5 reallys to 4, something like that. Still pretty rough. But, I mean, if you're abearRAWR, you look at the score 5-1, that doesn't quite feel right. You played pretty darn well. I agree, more on the spy side than the sniper side, but that's harder to teach if you ask me.
Agreed.
I think abearRAWR's showing here has been good enough to win multiple spy games, and I think against a slightly lesser sniper probably would have won 2 or 3.
Yeah, I agree. It's been a good showing from abear, even if the score doesn't necessarily reflect it. Pox, by the way, got a flirt for 34%, got a drink, got a delegate, and is now sending the general to the bar to pick up a guest list for him. Possible time ad from the inward-facing window here, but it looks like Pox is just killing a bit of time.
Well, that's what Pox does on pub. Only played 3 pub games all year in Challenger as spy. Won 2 of them, both via civilian shots. Did no mission wins.
Interesting.
And that tells me that at some point, yeah, I was going to say a delegate is going to happen, and obviously the purloin's already taken place. That's what that tells me if someone's on pub. If they don't get mission wins, but they do get civilian shot, that means they're purloining.
Got a couple of lowlights coming out of here, but not as much as abear would like, I don't think. Second flirt has indeed come off, bringing us up to 71%, which is in plenty of range for 3 flirt.
And Pox not really in a position, I hear, to finish, I don't think, but hoping a shot comes off.
Yep. Only a minute left to play. We still need a flirt and 2 completions. Contact is still on the table, and inspect is still on the table, so this is finishable, but not quite in range to finish the flirt. So at this point, yeah, I think you're right. Probably not finishing mission.
There were a couple of options if they were close enough there. They were all still pretty desperate, though, late in the game, especially when you see there's really only one highlight here. But it only takes one, too.
Banana bread.
Unless they're out of conversation during the banana bread.
Ah, that hurts. Fake contact comes off. And no more suspects for abear. Does he think Pox is willing to time out?
As I mentioned, Pox did not time out in the 3 PUV games in SCL Season 4 Challenger Division, but maybe abear knows that, maybe they don't, maybe just ready to hold the shot.
Well, we are definitely not finishing missions at this point unless we get a miracle time ad here. There's the time ad coming off. It is a white test. Behind the pillar, but not behind enough. The queen just a little bit too wide, and abear gets his first sniper game on the board.
Yeah, and also misses the pad at the end. That game was over significantly before the actual shot came off, though. abearRAWR did a really good job whittling that party down, making smart decisions, and just waiting him out.
Absolutely.
I mentioned earlier that I'd rather have someone who's naturally good at spy because it's easier to learn sniper. Similarly speaking, I would rather have someone who's inclined towards holding their shot as sniper rather than being more aggressive. Because I think that natural patience is also harder to teach. And I think it's the number one thing that stops people from becoming expert snipers as well and keeps them as kind of good to intermediate snipers is still taking jumpy shots. So very impressive to see abearRAWR with good spy timing and good patience on the sniper side. Obviously not the result they wanted this match, but a lot to look forward to.
And speaking of sniper patience, we got to see some pretty great progression throughout this match. Like abearRAWR in game 1, Sniper Game 1, fired almost immediately.
Right.
And just got more and more patient as the set went off until at the end of it, letting Pox time out. You can't really write it any better than that.
No, obviously a little easier to hold your shot on pub than ballroom, but I do think we've seen abear sort of settle in here, and it really would be nice, I hate to say moral victory, but moral victory if you can close with a spy win here on pub.
Absolutely. Against a player like Pox, a 5-3 finish is pretty good, all things considered. It's not what you want, obviously, but it's still something. As abearRAWR steps into the final game of the set on the spy side of pub, in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Bear, starting things out at the bar immediately, picks up a delegate, probably not going to use it, I would guess.
Probably not, but why not have it?
Indeed. Took an early highlight for it as well, so I don't think that's a suspicion highlight. I think that's tracking who could be delegating kind of highlight.
I think you're right, and I think that's a pretty good move.
Ooh! Oh, that bug, though!
Oh my goodness, look at this. Wow.
That was pretty!
I feel bad already because I feel like Pox is actually suspicious of it, but it was good.
Oh, that was less good, but it's fine. Someone else was at the pad. It didn't look too suspicious. We stayed around for about the right amount of time. We were just crooked is all, and Pox didn't notice.
No, busy looking at the ambo, which actually, unless they're faking them out, and why would you do that at the last game of the match, suggests that they don't think the bug has happened, or at least they're not sure.
Indeed. In conversation with the double agent, as people start to fill up the conversations, I imagine we'll hit that right click any time now. There it is for the green test. 2 lowlights, one of which was a highlight Smallman, but still, just 2 lowlights.
It's not bad for pub, yeah, and abearRAWR really needs to get a flirt in here so they can go to statues a little sooner rather than later, and not risk timing out after getting the hard part of pub done.
Well, 1:30 left on the clock with no flirt progress is already risking timing out. Here's a time ad. No, never mind. That's just a regular watch check. I thought it was a time ad. My apologies.
Well, it would have been an interesting choice to actually time at that early and say, you know what, I'm extrapolating this game out. I'm not technically yet low on time for the flirt, but it's going to be rough.
Yeah. Well, statue visit. Here's the inspect. I don't think we can get away with swapping here, but we're gonna try, and it's a green swap. This could very easily be how a bear wins this game.
It's pretty aggressive. I think I'd rather delegate or something like that, or maybe even time add and flirt rather than swap, because it's just so easy to catch swaps on pub, but a little harder in that back statue, and so counterintuitive that Pox might not be looking for it, especially in a game that doesn't have much at stake for them.
Indeed, but taking a drink afterwards to keep the eyes on the possible purloin, chatting things up at the end, now sees the swap, takes the shot, but on the green swap target, and a bear does find that last win to finish things up 5-3. A pretty strong showing from a bear, all things considered.
Yeah, one of the worst things, by the way, Sniper, is deciding to shoot and waiting that full second before the result screen pops up and hearing the banana bread on the person you're shooting, knowing before the screen even comes up, oh, I guess it couldn't have been them.
Yep. Luckily,
really
he already
game,
won the set, so...
Yeah, doesn't matter too much, and it'd be interesting to see whether or not that shot comes off, if the game matters to them a little bit more. But whether it does or not, a bear played some very strong spy games there.
Yeah. Yeah, I was really impressed by the spy play of a bear, but all that being said, we do have one more match to show you.